Your Super Bowl is set. That's the big theory, the big discussion we're going to have today. Welcome to your daily sports update for January 28th, 2024. My name is Lewis, and we don't have a lot of things going on, but obviously the big setup for the Super Bowl, we now know who's going to play. In the two games this weekend, the first game that was on tap was the AFC title game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Kansas City just kind of dominated the game, although the final score doesn't look that way. Final score was 17-10. I did get to watch the last part of this game, and I'll tell you, I don't want to say I was surprised. Kansas City played a really good game, and they just held Baltimore down. Now, granted, Kansas City scored all their points in the first half, but you don't have to score in the second half if you prevent the other team from scoring. Baltimore had three huge, costly turnovers in their game. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was 30 of 39 for 241 yards and one touchdown to his big man, Travis Kelce. Kelce, with probably the biggest game of anybody, 11 catches on 11 targets, 116 yards, and the touchdown that we talked about earlier. Isaiah Pacheco was able to get a lot of carries, 24 of them for 68 yards, and he also rushed in a touchdown. It was when you look at the way the game went, you could tell Kansas City just played with an edge. But to give you an idea of that second half, these were the drives. Kansas City, 5 plays, punt. Baltimore, 4 plays, punt. Kansas City, 10 plays, punt. Baltimore, 9 plays, punt. Kansas City, 4 plays, punt. And then the two huge turnovers in the fourth quarter. Baltimore, 5 plays, fumble. Kansas City, 9 plays, punt. Baltimore, 12 plays, interception. Kansas City, 4 plays, punt. Baltimore gets a field goal. However, they kicked the ball off to Kansas City. Kansas City got the one first down they needed, and they ran the clock out. The fumble was the wide receiver Flowers, who had just got a big, huge reception late in the quarter or early in the quarter, down close towards the end zone, and then he got a penalty for taunting. They moved him back. Baltimore still moved the ball forward, and they got him on a crossing route. He went to dive for the end zone, and as he was diving, the ball got knocked out on the 1-yard line, went into the end zone. Kansas City recovered. It became a touchback going the other direction. On the interception, Baltimore again was driving. They got close down the field, and Lamar went for a pass in the end zone on a guy that had, honestly, 3 defensive players around him. Ball got picked off. Pretty much Kansas City just running out the clock, able to hold on to win. So Kansas City advances to their 5th Super Bowl in 6 seasons. Baltimore, again, a great regular season, and just ended disappointingly here. I gave you the stats for Kansas City. Let me let you know. For Baltimore, Lamar was 20 of 37. He did have 272 yards. He did have a touchdown, but again, that costly interception. Lamar rushed 8 times for 54 yards, and Gus Edwards 3 times for 20 yards. For a team that was big on the running game this year, they just stopped doing it. Zay Flowers, for the fumble that he had, he also had 5 catches for 115 yards, 5 out of the 8 targets. And so it was a chance for them, but Zay Flowers lost the fumble. Lamar Jackson lost the fumble, and again, that previous interception we referred to. So Kansas City does advance to the Super Bowl, where they will face the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I watched the entirety of this game, and it was honestly a game of 2 halves. In the first half, Detroit dominated, going into the half with a 24-7 lead. Everything San Francisco tried seemed to have failed, and everything Detroit tried was successful. However, in the second half, San Francisco reeled off 27 straight points before Detroit got a touchdown late in the fourth quarter. But let's talk about the game. So Jared Goff ended 25 of 41, 273 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, I will tell you there were a couple huge drops late in the game, and we'll get to that. So don't let that 25-41 fool you, because there were at least 3 drops in the game overall that were just plain drops. David Montgomery, 15 rushes, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams both had touchdowns as well. Jameson's was in the first half a big 42-yard run where he couldn't be tackled. Sam Laporta, the all-pro tight end, had 9 catches for 97 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches for 87 yards. But again, there were just some huge drops along the way that just hurt Detroit later on. They also had a couple 4th down tries where they turned over the ball on downs, trying to do the best they could. They had it twice, actually, where they had big plays and they just missed out. For San Francisco, who gets a huge bunch of credit for coming back in the second half, Brock Purdy, 20 of 31, 267 yards, 1 touchdown. He did get intercepted. However, that interception came when he was going to throw the ball. Defensive player basically gave him a high five. The ball still came out, but it kind of floated a little bit. The ball was picked off. One huge play for San Francisco later on that kind of turned their fortunes around was a deep pass that Purdy threw that got bumped up in the air by the defensive back. It hit off his face mask, and as he fell down, the wide receiver was able to come and make the catch. I believe that was, I'm trying to remember who it was that made that huge catch. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember. It was, was it? I think it was Brandon Ayuk caught the long pass. Yeah, it was. It was Brandon Ayuk. The ball got popped up in the air, and the defensive back, like I said, he popped it up off his face mask, and Brandon Ayuk made the catch, tapped down at the 4-yard line. 2 plays later, Ayuk makes the catch for a 6-yard touchdown. I mean, I wish I could give you other things to try to describe the game. It just felt like a collapse, honestly. Detroit had the game in hand. Then they stopped running the ball successfully. San Francisco woke up. I will tell you, if you watch the game, you'll see, I think the emotional leader of the game for San Francisco was Deebo Samuel. Because if you watch the plays that he was making, he was just super aggressive, and he was not going to choose to lose the game. But in the end, San Francisco held on 34-31, running out the clock at the end. Great season by the Detroit Lions, but just not enough. And I think the veteran status of San Francisco allowed them to hold on to win the game. So again, as I said, now we know who our Super Bowl teams are going to be. It's going to be Kansas City versus San Francisco. As I read this morning, that as of right now, and of course it's still super early as this game is 2 weeks away, San Francisco opens up as a slight favorite. I believe, I'm trying to see if I can find the number for you here. Let's see. Okay. Right now, it appears... Looking real quick. Oh, I'm not finding it. All right. Like I said, the thing I read was San Francisco was the early favorite. I believe it was a 3-point favorite as I saw it. So it'll be intriguing to see how this game turns out. Here we go.
I'm a parking gate, and I'm all out of whack.
Here are our odds as of right now. It's 2.5 points. It's how we're starting. San Francisco is believed. And just so you know, officially, Kansas City is considered the home team for this game. San Francisco is considered away. All right, just good games. You end up feeling disappointed for the losing teams because I think both of them, Baltimore was expected to win the game. And for Detroit, there was a story to it. But these two teams, Kansas City and 49ers, are renewing a Super Bowl matchup from the end of the 2019 season where San Francisco had a lead going into the fourth quarter. Kansas City came back and was able to get their first Super Bowl in this new dynasty here. And so we'll see if the 49ers can actually avenge that loss, or if Kansas City continues and gets another win on them. All right. I told you there wasn't much in other sports because they knew how big the football games would be. In men's college basketball, there were only 5 ranked games. We'll start with New Mexico, number 25, at home, wins against Nevada, 89-55. Number 22, Florida Atlantic, holds on with a 3-point win, 66-63 against North Texas. Number 19, Memphis, goes down at UAB, 97-88. And the top 2 teams both successful. Number 2, Purdue, wins on the road at Rutgers, 68-60. And, of course, my UConn fandom, they hold on to win at home against Xavier, 99-56. The number 1 ranked Huskies are 8-1 in conference, 18-2 overall. On the women's side, there were a few more top 25 games, so we'll kind of get those all covered here. Number 1, South Carolina wins at home, 91-74. Number 2, UCLA upset at home by Washington State, 85-82. UCLA drops to 16-3. Washington State improves to 15-6. A huge win for the Cougars. Number 3, Colorado wins at Oregon, 61-48. Number 6, Stanford winners at Arizona, 96-64. Number 7, NC State winners on the road at Boston College, 82-61. Number 11, USC upset at home by University of Washington, 62-59. Number 12, Ohio State winners at Purdue, 71-68. Number 13, Baylor's winners on the road at Oklahoma State, 72-60. Number 14, Indiana with a huge win at home, 100-59 against Northwestern. Number 25, Oregon State, 91-66 winners against number 16, Utah. Number 18, Louisville wins at home, 77-58 against Pittsburgh. Number 19, Virginia Tech winners at number 22, Syracuse, 75-62. Number 20, North Carolina went down, losing at Virginia, 81-66. Number 21, Creighton wins at home against Seton Hall, 57-49. And the Florida State Seminoles, number 23 in the nation, win at Georgia Tech, 73-67. We did mention during the last video that the Australian Open men's final was going on. And at the time, Jannik Sinner was down 2 sets to 1. He had just won the third set and was leading 1-0 in that fourth set. Well, guess what? He went on to come back, win the 3 sets, and was your Australian Open winner. He's not bad for a 22-year-old, and it was his first Grand Slam title. And he was Italy's first man to win a major singles title in nearly half a century. Unfortunately, though, he will not be playing in the next event that was in France, just so you know. I mean, if you're following it, it's not a Grand Slam, so we don't do a bunch of coverage, but it is pretty big when the defending champion or the champion is unable to play in the next tournament. Doesn't say why he wasn't able to. I'm guessing he's probably getting some rest from that big, huge win. Congratulations to Jannik Sinner. In hockey, there were 2 games. In overtime, St. Louis Blues win at home against the Kings 4-3. And Seattle wins at home against Columbus 4-2, defeating the Blue Jackets. Now, basketball, of course, had a few more games, so we'll cover a couple of those. The Chicago Bulls win at Portland 104-96. Chicago was led in scoring by DeMar DeRozan, who had 20 points, 7 rebounds. They got 15 each from Kobe White and Andre Drummond. Drummond chipped in 7 rebounds, while White provided 9 assists. For the Portland Trailblazers, they got 24 points from Jeremy Grant and 7 rebounds. And DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 12 rebounds. So a nice balanced game for him. Unfortunately, not enough. Chicago 104-96 winners. The Toronto Raptors losing a thriller in Atlanta, 126-125. Sadiq Bey gets a big putback with 1.3 seconds left to end up helping Atlanta win that game. Toronto with a last-second heave at the end didn't go in. Atlanta was led in scoring by Mr. Trae Young, 30 points, 12 assists. Sadiq Bey added 26 with 13 rebounds. One of those was the putback to win the game. Clint Capella chipped in 19 with 14 rebounds, and Jalen Johnson had 17 points and 12 rebounds. So definitely huge when you got three guys with double-digit rebounds. For Toronto, they were led in scoring by Jordan Noor, 24 points, as well as Scotty Barnes having 24 points. Those were just 2 of 7 guys in double digits. Unfortunately, not enough. With that thriller in Atlanta, another last-second shot win for the Atlanta Hawks, 126-125 over Toronto. The Phoenix Suns losing a game in Orlando, 113-98 to the Magic. Magic were led in scoring by Paolo Banchero with 26 points and 7 assists. They also got 16 points from Mo Wagner, who also had 12 rebounds. For the Phoenix Suns, they were led in scoring by Devin Booker, who had 44 points. Unfortunately, they only had one other player in double figures, which was Kevin Durant with 15 points. He had 7 turnovers in the game. Kind of a lot, but unfortunately not enough support to help them win. Congrats to Orlando, 113-98 winners. The Indiana Pacers hold off the Grizzlies, 116-110. Big game there. The Pacers were led in scoring by 24 points from Benedict Mathurin. They also got 19 points from both Pascal Siakam and Jalen Smith. Jalen also chipped in 10 rebounds. For the Memphis Grizzlies, they got 25 points from Jaren Jackson. They got 20 from Vince Williams Jr. Congrats to the Pacers, 116-110 winners. Oklahoma City becomes another victim to the Detroit Pistons. That's right, Detroit holds on and wins 120-104 against the young Oklahoma City Thunder. Detroit were led in scoring by 22 points from Jalen Duren, who also had 21 rebounds. Big 2020 game. Congrats to him. They also got 19 points from Jaden Ivey to lead. Those two guys led 6 guys in double figures. For Oklahoma City, they got 31 points from SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and 20 points from Jalen Williams. Again, not enough. Congrats to the Pistons with a big upset win there, 120-104. Those are all your NBA scores and updates there. Got a big slate of games tonight, so we'll be looking forward to giving you the updates and the scores on those. Until then, thank you so much for taking the time. Again, congrats to all the teams that were winning. Looking forward to having some discussion over the Super Bowl over the next couple of weeks. We'll give some predictions on the game itself. We'll also discuss some of the expectations of the, quote, prop bets. Now, we're not going to take bets here, but we'll try our best to see and just have some fun with that. Anyway, until our next time, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Hope you have a great rest of your day.